Happy Wednesday, Belle Beauties. So today we're going to be mastering that classic cat eye. I have a lot of my beauties telling me that that liner in a cat eye is just such a pain in the butt. So let's make that a little bit easier. To start off today, I've already prepped and primed my eyes and my face, and I've already finished my brows. I realize that brows are a bit of a beast in and of themselves, but don't worry, we'll cover that a whole other day. So to get started, let's talk about product placement and where things are going. So step one, I'm going to be starting with a large, fluffy, lightweight brush and an all-over color to be able to sort of set and prime. This one is by Arbonne and it's called Linen. It's one of my favorites. It's an older, but I can't live without it. So you're gonna start by getting your brush ready and prepped, and then you're going to go ahead and apply all over your eye, inner corner to outer corner, and all the way up to your brow, okay? Just to be able to set and get ready your eye for the makeup that's coming. This is also a shade that we'll be working with up on the brow bone, so after colors go on your lid, everything will fade together nicely. This color itself, it's almost like a linen color specifically, and that works well for my skin tone, but if you're slightly darker, then go a little deeper, and if you're slightly lighter, go something a little bit more like a vanilla or an off-white, or maybe even just a matte white. That works for you. So next, we're going to take a medium matte color, and in this case, I have a MAC and it's Coquette. I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyways, and I've got my tapered brush here, and we're going to go ahead and work in this area through here, up into your crease and across your lash line and down and under your lash line, and that's going to help to give you a little bit of definition and a little bit of pop for your eyes to stand out, especially if you're like me and you have a larger eyelid base. It all kind of flows together and you need a little bit of definition in there. So starting from the center, you're going to trace along your lash line and then look up and find where that crease is and go straight across your natural crease. Blending while you go. And you're only coming about halfway across the lid. We're doing sort of a natural crease here. So we really don't need a whole lot. And think of this kind of like if you were going to draw on a piece of paper, you're kind of tracing your outline first. So we're kind of cheating here before we get our dark colors together. So there's your one eye. You can already see the difference if you're looking between the two, how one is slightly more dramatic than the other one is. And if you don't know exactly where your crease is, it's where your lower lid folds into your upper. So it's right in that space. And you'll notice I'm only coming about halfway across on my lower lid as well. One of the best tips that I could probably give you is to master having something close to your eye and having your eyes open. That gives you the most ability to be able to work around your eyes and close to your eyes, on your lash line. So the more that you can get your eyes used to that, the better your makeup will be. So next, thanks to my wonderful best friend that lives overseas, I was able to get my hands on this awesome Huda Beauty palette for contouring. Even though right now it's not sold here, she lives in Dubai and she was a lovely lady and brought it over for me. So we're going to use a little bit of our upper color here. It's almost like a gold. It's got a bit of a shimmer in it, and it's called Capri. And I'm going to be using kind of a it's a tighter tighter bristled brush, but it's still large and round and fluffy. But we're going to take kind of across here and highlight in from the inner corner and through to that center part. That's going to make your inner eye sparkle. Okay? So this palette itself is actually quite pigmented, so I don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to be working from my inner eye out, blending close to the lash line. There we go. And repeat on this side. Don't worry if you get anything below or above, because at this point I haven't done my face yet. I always wait to do my face makeup until after I've done my eyes. That way if anything falls below, I can wipe without having to worry. And we're just building up our tone here till I get to a level where I really like the shimmer without being too much. There we go. Next, we're going to add a little bit more definition to our contour. So like I mentioned, we kind of traced out or cheated a little bit to add where that's going to be before our gold went in there. So now we're going to take a deeper tone. This one is Lancome. It's a bit of an older one, and it's called Impress. So it's a very bronzy dark brown. And I'm going to take the same brush, the tapered brush that I had before, and trace back over those lines again. Moving up into my crease from that same spot, back out and up. You'll notice I open my mouth a lot. Whenever you open your mouth and you're working around your eyes, it actually pulls the muscles here down, so you have more of a tight face and your eyes open more, and it's easier to work with. It's kind of an odd face to have, but it works. Okay, now move over to the other side here. You'll notice that I'm still moving underneath my eye. If you're somebody that has really dark bags underneath your eyes, I wouldn't recommend going too far underneath because it's only going to enhance that. Alright, so there's that. And again, I'll use the same brush that I had earlier to blend that in a little bit better. There we go. Moving back to our original color that we started at in the first step with our big fluffy brush, I'm going to go back over my brow bone and make sure that these areas are blending properly. And I don't actually have much pigment on my brush. I just want enough that they'll blend without being smothering or changing the look of the makeup. Next, I'm going to take a short, tight bristled brush and my Huda palette again. And this time I'm going to choose a bright highlighting color, which is the top one up here, that's Santorini. And we're going to highlight our brow bone. Again, the colors are pretty pigmented in here, so you don't need a whole lot. You're going to take it right up underneath your brows and then blend downward. And this will really help to give you some definition between your brow and your actual eyelid. And don't forget the inner corners of your eyes. We tend to be tired, and if you add a little lightness in there, it perks you up just a little bit. There we go. Now, the tricky part that nobody seems to really like, the liner. So I've got a trick. Just like we traced out our eyes, I always trace out my liner. So I've got my, this one's an Arbonne pencil liner, and it's in ebony, so the darkest color that they have. And starting from the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to work outward with the pencil. Pencil has more give, and if you make a mistake, it's much easier to smudge back off again than going straight to the liquid liner and trying to make that work. So again, I'm going to be pulling from that edge in. And try and get down to your lash line as close as you can. Don't worry about the line being straight or even. We'll fix it after. As you can see, I'm trying to wiggle the pencil right into my lash line. There's one side. Again, starting in the corner. And moving outward, making sure that we're getting right into that lash line. And you're not actually doing the wingtip with this pencil. You're just going to be leaving it towards the end, okay? So next, after you have your trace, if you have any rough edges or edges that aren't smooth, you can take an angled brush and move along that line to smooth it back out again. And that's the only trick you need to know. Moving on to our liquid liner. One of my favorites are the self-propelling pens, just because you don't have to keep dipping, and therefore the liquid doesn't dry out if it's not open to air. So quite a few different companies make them. MAC is one, Sephora is another, and Sephora and MAC are my two favorites for their self-propelling pens. I believe with MAC it's the penultimate, and with Sephora it's just their fine line pen liner. And this is what I'm talking about here. So the actual product is in the base of the pen and it self-propels downward as you move. Sometimes you may have to put the lid back on, give it a little shake towards the end. Either way, it does all the work for you, so it makes life twice as easy. So to be able to get that cat tip on the end, or your wing tip there, you're going to take the actual end of the brush here and mark where you want it to go and connect it into your pencil liner. Okay, excuse me for a second, I need to help this self-propel. You're actually using the tip of the brush itself just to make that wingtip, nothing more. Keeping it as simple as possible, you're going to follow your tracing line across. And there you go. Now we'll repeat on the other side so that I don't look a little strange today. So I'll get my area where I want that to go. Connect that down. Get a little more product in my brush. trace along the line that you already created, making sure to stay as close to your lash line as possible. And that's 2 sides done. Okay, last step here for your classic eye is going to be the addition of your mascara. So when I sleep at night, I tend to sleep half on my face, so my lashes really do need a bit of a perk up. My favorite lash curler, it's a pretty simple one. It's just from MAC. There's nothing fancy about it, but there really doesn't need to be. You don't need things that heat up or curl or have special gadgets or colors or anything like that. All you need is something that pops on quickly, that you do before your mascara goes on, and voila, it works. Okay? So when you're doing this, try and get as close to the lash line as possible and hold kind of for 10 to 15 seconds, long enough for it to make an impact. You want to get as close to the lash line as possible so it curls at the point that's closest to your lashes. Makes your lashes look longer. If you don't get as close to the lash line as possible, you're curling halfway through your lashes, and then only half of your lashes are going to be standing up and making them look shorter. Here we go. Now, one of my favorite little pro tips when you're doing mascara is the curl and wiggle move. So I'm going to be taking, this is an Arbonne mascara. It's long lasting, and if you don't have access to Arbonne, a couple of the other ones that I love are the Dior Show by Dior, as well as the Zoom Fast Black Lash by MAC. Those ones have the same impact as this one. I just prefer this one because it is holistically made with natural ingredients. So moving on, let's explain the curl and wiggle move. You want to make sure that you're coating both your top and bottom lashes. So you're going to start with your top, okay? And you're going to rotate your brush by curling across the top, and then wiggle from the bottom of your lashes right at that lash line and up again. And see, this is why right here, that's why I haven't done my face yet, because little mistakes like that happen, and that's completely normal. You just don't want your face completely done and contoured and looking gorgeous, and then having to redo all that. There you go. And on the other side. So again, you're going to rotate or curl your brush the whole way across. Your top lashes are also coated. And do your wiggle move from the bottom up. I have a 3-year-old at home, and when I say I'm doing the wiggle move, she turns and wiggles her bum at me. She's not here, otherwise that would be much more entertaining on camera than I am. Plus, she's cuter. Okay. And you can repeat that process as many times as you want to get the volume and thickness and length that you want. Next, I always do my lower lashes. It helps to look thicker, and as much as people, contrary to popular belief, it actually makes you look more awake, not more tired, because it's opening up your eyes on both sides. So I always place this underneath. It's just easier. I remember growing up, my mom had one of these little plastic pink things that went under her eye. I don't know who stopped making that, but that was probably one of the smartest and most genius beauty inventions. And then they just quit making it. I was pretty horrified by the time I started putting makeup on. Okay. And with a little bit of removal of this, there we go. That is your classic eye. Pretty simple, pretty easy, not nearly as complicated as everybody makes it out to be. So stay tuned, and in the comments, I'll see if I can post photos. Again, only my second vlog, so I'm still figuring this whole YouTube thing out. I'll see if I can post photos of up close of the end, as well as in the comments I will post all of the products that I used. Okay, well, until next time, where we do tackle those beastly brows, stay tuned and we'll see you later. Bye.